She heard footsteps. The killer was coming back to the garage, directly toward her. The man looked right at her. She was staring down, a handgun pointed right at her face. Started to squeeze the trigger. The bullet sailed over her head.
He walked away and decided to let her live that night. No one has any idea why.
In the 1980s, I was a young reporter, and I needed a story that would be my ticket to the big time. When I first heard about the murder of the woman in the condo, the story felt like your basic home invasion murder. Still, there was something that was a little bit off about this one. Why didn't the gunman kill the other woman? That question really gnawed at me.
The surviving victim was understandably shaken. She had no idea who the killer was, had never seen him before. He wasn't an old boyfriend, ex-husband, whatever. She was able to give us a pretty good description, though. Light-skinned Hispanic, messy hair, 6 feet tall with bad teeth, wearing black sneakers and a black sweatshirt. She thought she'd recognize him if she ever saw him again.
And I wonder, what was the point of the murder? Nothing was stolen. From what my sources told me in law enforcement, there was no apparent connection between the killer and the two women. Was it just random?
Forensics found no prints in the condo of any use, but they did recover a .22 caliber shell casing. Between that and the slug we took from the victim, we could get a match if we ever located the murder gun.
1 mile away from that condo murder scene, there was a drive-by shooting. But police were playing this one even closer to the vest. They wouldn't really squat. What was so special about another drive-by?
That on the street, forensics found a .22 caliber casing, and it matched the one from the Barcroft murder. That's when I first feared we might be looking at something very, very bad out there.
I first met Satan in the 80s. I was 19 living in LA. He came to me when I was hungry and bored, sick of people looking at me like I was a piece of shit. Satan taps me on the shoulder. Says, if it feels good, then it's good. Whether that's eating junk food, smoking crack, or dominating some little bitch who wants her ass taken. See, all those religions tells you everything pleasurable is a sin because they want to control you. But I will not be controlled.
Ten days after the condo murder and the drive-by, the Hongs were awakened at 2 a.m. in their home in Whittier. The husband was shot in the head with a .22, died immediately. The intruder then pistol whipped Mrs. Hong, tied her up, and demanded she tell him where their valuables were. While he was ransacking the house, she was able to slip out of her bindings and retrieve a shotgun from under the bed. Unfortunately, her gun wasn't loaded. His was. The shell casings matched those from the previous murders, both .22s. The killer also left a signature and a shoe print in the flower bed. We measured it to be a size 11 or 12. 4 dead, 1 injured in 10 days. I went back to the precinct thinking we better find a match on that shoe print before this bastard hits again. Four dead, 3 cases. This is a cop's biggest fear. A serial killer. Just killing for the hell of it. The pentagram he left behind in the last 2 shootings told me we might be dealing with a real sicko. So I started thinking. Throughout 1985, there'd been a series of child abductions with a common suspect. There was a police sketch that I thought looked similar to the one based on Jocelyn Kramer's description. But when I brought it up with Sex Crimes Division, they kind of just laughed me off. I was new in the Homicide Division, kind of wet behind the ears, so I didn't push it. Didn't have the confidence at the time. And when I asked if I could speak to some of the kids, Captain turned me down. Of course, nobody else had any bright ideas, and man, did we need them now. In late May, the Sex Crime Division was looking into another abduction. A 6-year-old girl was taken from her home, carried out the window, driven to an oil field, and assaulted. Sex crimes cops did tell me to butt out again, but I could tell their heart wasn't in it this time. They saw what was going on with this serial case, and the public was starting to get angry. The girl described the assailant as having broken teeth, black clothes, crazy hair, same description the 2 survivors gave us. The assailant left a footprint in some mud at the site, so I wanted to get down there and take a look at that print. And holy shit, it matched the print in the Hong case, just like I predicted, size 11.5. I felt like I was getting close, but not close enough.
On Wednesday, May 28th, and the following day, somebody broke into a house in Glendora. An elderly woman lived there with her disabled sister. The old woman was bludgeoned to death with a hammer. The disabled woman was tied to her bedposts, raped, then shocked with an electric cable. She died later on at the hospital.
There's now 7 dead. Victims wounded, traumatized. The press kept pestering me to call this a serial killer. I was ordered to keep my mouth shut.
The story was changing. The killer was now an outlier with a changing MO. His only consistency was his inconsistency and the level of violence and cruelty that seemed to be escalating.